This is Gene Krebs.
Hi there. Oh. Whoosh.
And we're high on Ohio.
Hi, this is Gene Krebs, and I'm here on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions. We're having today a rather different sort of video clip. As I've been going around Ohio interviewing people, I've been engaged in a small research endeavor with them also. I've informed them that while this looks like an ordinary ink pen, it is actually a magic wand, and they can require the General Assembly to pass any bill they wish, and the governor will sign it, and further I guarantee by a 5-2 majority on the Ohio Supreme Court will uphold it. I can't guarantee them a 7-0 decision. After all, this is only a magic wand and not a miracle maker. So let's sit back and find out, with the new Ohio legislature forming now, what those various people would require the General Assembly to do. The answers might surprise and shock you. I do need to emphasize that the views expressed here may not represent the views of the Center for Community Solutions.
I would have them sign legislation that called for quality early learning and care, that included enough funding in the package to pay for qualified staff, pay livable wages that are comparable to their educational attainment.
I start with education, I start with health care.
Okay.
And I start with family structure.
How?
And supporting family structure. Okay, let's take education at first. I create support systems to deal with pre-K and the families of pre-K students. Give them a lot of support. I'd also work on the social, psychological, and economic issues of those families simultaneously.
Okay.
Because if you don't deal on those issues, the education will not obtain.
I'd put civics class in K through 12. I'd make sure that every kid understood the importance of government. I'd make sure that when these kids are graduating seniors out of school, that government is part of their understanding.
Make it possible for the community to help the schools.
How so?
In Toledo, we called it community hubs. Here in Cleveland, we're calling it community wraparound schools. In Cincinnati, they call it community learning centers.
Okay.
But the idea that the school is a natural hub of activity in a neighborhood and bust down the barriers that limit a community's ability to interact with that school.
Without a doubt, it's investing in school-based mental health care. Almost every day there's an article about the state of education, public education, the cost of colleges. I used to sit and think, you know, here we are building these wonderful citadels of learning, but are we preparing children to learn? And so and the other thing is that's very clear here is that the demand for children's mental health care continues to grow.
We need to adequately support behavioral health services in the state, mental health services and addiction services.
Okay.
We need to do it fiscally, through financial support for those services. We need to support them through policy perspectives too. There are a number of policies we need to be implementing, things we need to be doing in the state that don't cost as a lot of money.
I think it's time now for us to evaluate what we're doing with the money we have and show everybody that we are probably funded at a 50% level at best.
Recognize that Medicaid doesn't cover everything, and it's what we call non-Medicaid funding has to be have parity with all the counties in Ohio.
Well, I think there's administrative issues about the authority of local health departments. I think there are, of course, issues about tobacco and food access. I think some of the problem with those programs is they're silos. So it doesn't allow us necessarily to use, to be innovative or to address the issues that we identify locally as priorities for our community.
I would definitely have them continue down the road of integrating health care and mental health care for kids. I would provide more places where that service is available and the dollars to make that viable.
Your best fantasy, you're driving into work every day and you're going, wow, if I could just do this one thing, what would you have them do?
I wouldn't mandate anything.
Okay.
What I would ask, give us a fair hearing on the ideas.
Okay, that's it?
It has to come from attraction.
Okay.
You can't mandate this stuff.
Just all you want them to do is sit down and have a cup of coffee with you.
Fair hearing, yeah.
Just a cup of coffee and go over all this.
Yeah. I worked in Morrow County for 19 years running an addiction place. And during those years, we saw different things get mandated. And they came down sometimes by legislation and sometimes just through real influence. As in, if you don't do this and you're not playing, we'll remember it, right? So we've seen many sort of national programs that say, let's move the dial on this, let's move the dial on that. And it's best when people become attracted to it.
Thank you very much for watching. But I have a question for you. If you had a magic wand and could require the Ohio legislature to pass any bill, the governor to sign it, and the Supreme Court to uphold it, albeit by a 5-2 margin, what would you wish for? Go to the link below on the screen and tell us. Go to the Center for Community Solutions website, click on the link for If I Had a Magic Wand, and tell us. Email your own state representative and senator, plus the governor, and tell them what is the one thing you would change. It is important that we all participate in this process called government. We should not be satisfied with average. We should, as a state, strive for exceptional. After all, the state motto is not, Ohio, we're mediocre, we're vaguely satisfied with that, which could also say a lot about our use of grammar. Thank you very much for watching, and let us know what you think.
For more about the Center for Community Solutions or their publications, please visit www.communitysolutions.com.